I got support, I got companies taking away, I got all this through direct attacks. And now most of you really have a hard time seeing that. You know, unless you've been attacked in these same ways. I mean, I told you before the break, they went after Casey Nettercott because he was going to back the Free American. Got $1,000,001 account today. Money's not an issue. But Southern poverty law took them away. Now, this will happen, and this is the way they work. They start this thing where he's trying to make money off. He's trying to do this. He's got it mercilessly. They tried to cast doubts about anything that we're doing. And the fact is, anything can be used for good or evil. It depends on your direction. And I prefer to operate for good. So what I'm proposing here is a co-op where people combine their buying power. Again, something I've always done. I always bought wholesale. How much per case of those? Because I got 20 people out here to buy one. I think it's a good product. Now, I want to do that through the co-op, and I want you to cover my expenses to the tune of 10% for finding you the bargains, for setting all this up, for setting this up so that it works neighborhood to neighborhood. Got a flyer I'm working on right now. Make your neighborhood more self-sufficient. Be productive. Convert that garage. Start that Liberty Garden. Victory Garden. We're going to talk about victory. I mean, we ain't just fighting for, we're fighting a way of life here. And this is actually what we set up here. And I think we've got the tools to do it. And these tools have been brought to us by people that maybe listened to me 10 years ago. Maybe listened to when I had Dead Doctors Don't Lie on my show, and he said all your disease is caused by lack of minerals. You need the minerals. You need the minerals. We've had a cumulative effect. People are starting to realize that this Federal Reserve banking system ain't working. Now, we've got Ithaca hours. We've got mile-high hours. And even in California, Hemet. I believe in Hemet, California, they've got Hemet hours. Now, what we're proposing here is something that's controlled county by county. Now, we may be able to use, Ithaca hours in the co-op. If we accept them, certainly we can spend them. I think that's the best way that I can think of to oppose the Federal Reserve. Here, take a Liberty hour. Take a Liberty hour. As long as we don't call it money, we don't call it dollars. It's basically we're agreeing on $10 for 1 hour. Now you may want to charge me 2 hours to fix my computer. That's okay. Your neighbor may want to do it for 1 hour. That's free trade. That's competition. That's what we once had. Barter. Hey, Joe's barn blew over, man. Let's go build him another one. We're gonna go there this weekend. We can probably get done in the weekend. That's what I want to see happen. Now, the Jews, they try to go in and, again, cast doubts. It's what they do. It's how they operate where, and this Yeah. Let me just cut off all that chat. Would Brother Clay be inconsiderate to a caller? Not if the caller has a modicum of common sense and doesn't try to preach or convert me into his way of thinking. I go along totally with the whole rap on revolution. You know, I don't need you want to bang your head against that wall, knock yourself out. I'll watch. Maybe I'll sell you a Band-Aid. Now, okay, let me find this one again. This is, I've been having a little case of deja vu here, because it's happened, I've seen it happen again and again and again, from the 60s on down to the tax protest, to the Lynn Meredith, to the Irwin shifts. I've seen it happen again and again. Hang on. Sorry about that. Had to warm up the coffee, and okay, you gotta do something here. Get this back up. This, again, if you want to call in, I will take a call. And what's happening? Come on. Get over here. Somewhere I lost something here. Okay. That one's working. Alright, great. Alright, let's see what's up. That one's working. Got that one working. And take that one out. Alright, what do we got here? You can Skype a monster, you can't Skype me. If you want to call in on Monster's thing. Tell them how to do it, Monster. Now, I told you, I warned you about DHS. I filmed the first Homeland Security meeting. You should watch that so you understand. In case of a single outbreak of smallpox, some nuclear disaster, earthquake along the New Madrid fault line, we'll need 400,000 well-armed, well-trained, organized, disciplined troops. This is, and I also told you that Mossad demanded a office in Homeland Security when it was created. And I suppose that they gave them the whole thing. Michael Chertoff, our former Jewish governor, they've all worked for the Mossad. Southern Poverty Law tells them who to go after. And I've told you what a certain Southern Poverty Law. This DHS is now being morphed into this new American Cheka. Okay, who do we got? Lockman?
Good morning, Clay.
Good morning, sir. Yes, sir.
Can you hear me okay?
Yes, sir. I can hear you fine. Yes, sir.
I just want you to know, Clay, I'm saying this publicly. I love you, man. I'm serious, because I'm a builder, and I know there's other people here on the station that have more than a capability to build, and I would seriously look forward to in the future. I'm in Tejas, so are you, Texas. I heard through the grapevine that you might be getting something together in Oklahoma. I don't know, but my point is, I'd love to go up there for a weekend or a week and just build away and get people set up and lined up. The only caveat concern I have is for all of us to have an open door to let people speak. And I think we can try collectively to keep ourselves calm and to listen to each other and make this work, brother. I think we can do it.
I believe that we can do this. I believe that, I don't think we're destined to be slaves here. I think we got a lot going for us as a people, as a country, and again, the enemy is in here and among us, and sometimes, it turns out your own family is your worst enemy, because they don't understand, they haven't experienced this. My ex-wife, Clay, the doctor saved your life. No, they tried to kill me. And that's what we're up against. That's why I get so upset with the chat room, somebody calling me a racist. All they're doing is doing the work for the Southern Poverty Law. They're the ones that put that crap out. I don't care what color you are. I don't care what religion you are. I don't think I've ever walked up to somebody and said, "Hi, I'm Clay Douglas. What religion are you?" I might, if they got an accent, I might say, "Where are you from? Where's that accent from?" And that's the extent of it.
But Clay, what if our religion every day was just loving and helping and nurturing people? In other words, I would be full on board with this. I don't care what you or anybody else, if quote unquote the very first concern was that whatever we construct, the people are totally and absolutely energy independent. Period. Now, I'll be in on that. But if we have to hook into some sort of corporation eventually, or county, or the state, or federal government, but I'm on board. If we can make it independent and work for 1, 2, 3, and then it grows and grows, that's what I'm looking for.
Well, I believe.
Free.
Now, what I tried to do with Liberty Villages originally. What I tried to do originally was set up, I had a windmill, I had a generator in the back, I know Powell Pantone, I can get a geek device if I need one, but I wanted to bring people there and show them what homegrown food tastes like. I wanted to bring them into a restaurant where they could buy some videos, do things like that. And that was a way to bring people out and to get people educated. And you can do this at home. Now, the new vision that I have is turning every block into its own little family farm. You got the fences up in between you. You know, we'll trade you strawberries for your peaches. You know, and we do that with a community script like Ithaca Hours. That works. Been out happening for 22 years. We can certainly adopt that. The whole co-op system is simply a means of working together. You know, I don't care what religion you are. I don't care what color you are. You know, as long as you pick up the dog shit out of my yard. You know, don't care. It's and if we're all working together, and hey, look, I just found a source for a skid of sugar, man. We can salvage over half of it, and we can save the X number of dollars. Great, all that goes back into the co-op. The co-op makes 10%, and everybody gets a better deal. I can't think of a better way to work together now. You know, I've started the militias. Everybody wants to be boss. Everybody wants to be Indian chief. You know, frankly, I don't. I want you all to be free Americans. I want you all to be self-sufficient. And the more self-sufficient you are, the less control the banksters, the media companies, you know, the political parties that you gave $1 billion to, you kind-hearted suckers. You gave them $1 billion. To what? Choose between Mitt Romney and Barack Obama? Mossad A, Mossad B? And I think people are stymied. How do you compete with that? How do you compete with that? And I think the only way we've got to compete with that is by changing our lifestyle, changing our home, changing our neighborhood, and then turning around and going to the next neighborhood and saying, hey, see what we did? We became self-sufficient. We became productive. We kicked out our neighborhood association, and we're growing tomatoes in the front yard. We're not victims. We're not helpless. We're not of a class. We're not hyphenated. We don't have a special interest, and we're not a revenue stream. God damn it, we're American citizens. We're Americans, and I want us all to be free. I'm not doing this to stir up hate. I'm doing this to lead people into a little brighter future. Go ahead.
I'm sorry. We not only need the builders, which is obvious, to construct, but it seems like, you know, I'm in my 50s, there's others that are in their 60s, and there's going to be others that are going to be older than that. I think it would be kind of like the coming out of Egypt and coming out of her, that we need a lot of professionals, such as healthcare. So therefore, a lot of these individuals that are collectively together, you know what I mean? They don't have to lean on an outside medical source. You know what I mean? I mean, we need all of everything. You know, dentists, lawyers, doctors. You know what I mean? In other words, we need all of this knowledge and people willing to have not only the smarts and education, but also how, to skirt around it, you know, to get us to be successful and not let the encroachment, you know, come against us and tear down what we build. So it's going to be important not only to build and grow, but we're going to need health care, you know, internal. We're going to need counseling at a spiritual level, you know, for other people. I mean, we just need all of these stuff. And I've got a garden. You know, I'm taking my steps for free energy. We all need to take those steps, and we just need to bring those steps together in the future. What do you think?
I think that's absolutely true. I mean, the only reason we don't have magnetic generators in here is because the people that can build them are afraid that if they turn them on, they're going to come in and raid them. Which they would. If you got a car that's better than 50 miles a gallon, they got them in Europe. They got them overseas. Here, you bring one in this country and they find it, they'll crush it.
But that's why it's important for us to grow together, and protect these things amongst ourselves.
Well, the
versus, how greed could be.
I have been in. I started the Wake Up America movement in Albuquerque. I went to Phoenix, did the Phoenix Breakfast Club, Tucson Breakfast Club, and they come in and they try to get you. They try to get you banned. They try to get you barred. They don't want anybody talking about freedom or independence here. And we lost over 1 million homes last year, and we got the homes are out there. All we got to do is make them work. And what I'm suggesting, now you may be more experienced at this than me. I can ride a Harley, but I can't tear one down and tear it apart. On this energy, we've got solar available to us. The sun comes up every morning like clockwork, and yet most of your solar sales out there, like they must be Jewish owned because they wanna rip you off. They want to. How long would I have to have this solar system up before I'd make a profit off of it? Before I'd see a return on my investment? 3 or 4 years? I don't know. I'm not going to go for that. I think we can build the solar panels. We can buy the solar film on rolls. We can cut it. We can staple it. We can put it up on so it works, and sell it to our neighbor for a lot less than a solar company. With the money, with the Ithaca hours or the Mile High hours, we can we keep all of the money within the community. So if we can build our own wind generators, if we can build our own solar, and I've seen some really pretty well done wind generators that are nothing more than cloth, sailcloth.
But take it to the full extent. Let's say 5 years, 10 years, but let's say if the great community, self-contained, we got to look at a prospectus as, obviously that is an image of, hoping for the best, but we got to have a prospectus where we got to look at this long term to where what could be the worst that could happen, and then, making sure that they can't legally or, land or anything else, or the water or the food, because look at Time and Space with the King, and what was that, the Magnus Opus, what was that called? I can't think of it right now, but it was the precursor to our Constitution.
The Magna Carta. The Magna Carta.
The rights to everything.
You're talking about the Magna Carta.
Ground, above ground. So as long as we can screw everything, the whole system, we just want to make sure that we'll be left the F alone. A good example that we could use is the Amish. We can use the Mormons. They had to go through a process, and mind you, it was different. It was the older West, so it was easier, and it wasn't as complicated, the legal system, So we just need people that could guide us, make sure that once we get these set up, that they'll be self-contained, literally, legally, and every which way.
Well, that's exactly what we're trying to do, and that's why I want a dozen people from that have farming experience, that have their own ranches, that are doing this Revolution Radio. They are here to advise us all. I'm here to get this information out. I'm here to tell you that here's a flyer you can put to everybody in your block. Here's what you can say. Here's a town council that passed, that made any federal involvement in their town and the growth of their own food supply, they made it a crime. We have a justice system. We have Liberty Villages. They may be called Odessa, they may be called Midland, but they started out as a little village and people came there because they worked together. I think we can do this again. Now we're recovering from this whole 9/11 thing, all these wars, billions of dollars fought on wars, and the treatment of our vets is something that we need to rectify almost immediately. And this whole war on terror, I've told you that is that's a war against anyone, anywhere in the world that doesn't want to go along with one world banking. So this is a matter of education as we go. And hopefully we can provide that.
If you think about it, even the good book, so to speak, has mentioned that there's a time for everything. So, we got to look at this from a clearer standpoint. In other words, these religions, these governments, this is global, these governments would not be powerful as they are if it wasn't for the religions. It's that simple. So we got to basically educate ourselves and realize that, this fear complex and this religion complex and this divide and conquer complex and I'm better than you complex, this is not what these communities are for. These communities are for that we have an open door, we don't have phobias, we're not like the systems. The systems teach us to be phobic against each other, judge each other. So the important thing here is we just need to have an understanding, each and every one of us. Doesn't matter if it's a book or a belief, we have to accept the consequences of our actions, and that's the key. We can always believe what we want, but it's what we do. If I'm hurting folks, whether it's verbal or physical, and all my words are, I'm just trying to help you. Well, again, this is what government does. This is what religion is. So that's what I'm hoping for. There's a collective of people that are not necessarily like-minded, but yet appreciate their differences, and it's like a rope. You know what I mean? You braid it, you bring it together beautifully, and it's unbreakable. So we got to quit letting these psychoses, defeat our overall goal. So we just, this is me speaking. What I need to do. I just need to chill. Just chill. And by the way, DCR, thank you. He posted that was a Magna Carta. So
yeah.
So if we follow this psychology of the kings and the queens and this divine right from, their God, see, that's why the Masoretes in the 6th century AD changed the Tetragrammaton to the Lord. Because guess what's in England? And who issued in 1611 the book we have? The Church of England. See, so the House of Lords. So this is all a psych. Once we know who we are and we're loving each other the way life and nature goes, you know what I mean?
You just named.
Worry about is the approach.
You just named the character that I created 45 years ago. He was the captain of the Earth ship Heaven. His name was Tetragrammaton Lord, and his co-captain, or first mate, or whatever you wanted to call him, was Lucifer. And that's my story of the Bible. So, and it's actually
45 years ago, right?
Yes, I wrote that 45 years ago, along with the Lucifer Legends, which started out as the future past, about Lucifer finding, rediscovering, and
Clay,
yes,
I
sir.
don't mean to interrupt. I'm gonna have to go mute. I got a phone call here. So
All right, sir. Go ahead. Hey,
I'll
listen.
be right back.
Thanks for being on. Thanks for coming on. Folks, we'll still keep that line still open. 347-688-2902. It's You know, we might as well have fun. I mean, I wrote what I wrote about in my Lucifer Legends was a big what if. That's why I said it was science fiction a long time ago. But strangely enough, what I predicted 25 years ago is happening today. So, 45 years ago, at any rate. 22. And, okay, in the chat room, yeah, cannabis is good. And the novels that I wrote 45 years ago about what this country would be like if it's legal. And it will be. Again, we're moving towards that. We're moving towards that. Now let's go back to this idea. I mean, folks, this massive false flag attack of 9/11 that they staged was used as a false pretext for the completely unprovoked, illegal, undeclared, unconstitutional series of Mideast war in Iraq and Afghanistan and other U.S.-financed secret low-intensity wars in Africa, Libya, and Syria being fought by U.S.-created and financed Al-Qaeda and U.S.-financed special mercenary operators. And as most Americans fail to realize that much of the time, private special operators have compromised up to at least 50% of all troop strength in the wars, sometimes higher, much higher, especially in the numerous secret African deployments. Nobody in the U.S. government or DOD will admit to publicly, and folks get wounded, they do not get VA benefits, which is a story that's never told in its full application. Hello, 727. Who do we have here? 727 area. Hello. Who's this?
Susie.
Kuzi?
Yes.
How are you, dear? What's on your mind?
This is my first time calling. Good. I wasn't necessarily calling in to talk. I was calling in to listen because I didn't know how to access the show. I didn't pick up the phone and call. Sorry.
Well, that's all right. Where are you from, dear?
Florida.
All right. I lived in Miami for a number of years. As a matter of fact, I've got 2 books written about Florida. And you can find all those on my website, freeamerican.com. How did you find the show? Where'd you go? Revolution Radio?
Yes. Yes. Revolution Radio.
So, what do you think?
What? Andrew Bart. Pardon?
Yes, go ahead. What?
I found it through Revolution Radio and Freedom Slip. And I had been watching or listening to Andrew Bart's.
Okay.
And so I kind of bookmarked it and thought I would just check into it to discover more of what the show was about. And
well, with me it's real simple. I took an oath when I was 17 years old, 1964, to defend the Constitution against all enemies, foreign and domestic, and I read it. I read everything, so I read it. And there was no expiration date on that oath. I didn't go to Vietnam, but I certainly see the dangers of communism, totalitarianism, you know, doesn't matter what party it is. You know, 2 wings of the same bird, and that bird's a global vulture. That means I'm opposed to, just
I agree with that.
as our founding fathers were, I'm opposed to a central bank issuing our money. And the current remedy I've got for that is to change your currency, so we're not we're basing our trade and currency on our productivity. What can we produce? What can we make? What can we contribute? And we can do that with hours, or we can do that with Ithaca hours. We can do it with mile high money, mile high hours. If you're in California, I believe Heber. So what I'm advocating actually right now is taking over by your retaking over your counties and becoming more self-sufficient. There's a lot of people out there that have become self-sufficient that are this way, that are growing the organic foods, that are selling to their local health food stores, and I just think there ought to be a hell of a lot more of us. What do you do?
I'm in agreement with that. I'm stay-at-home mom.
Okay. Well, that's if you right now today started converting your house into a self-sufficient family residence and dug up that crabgrass in your backyard and put a garden in, and took that computer that you're listening to this show on and signed up with the Little Red Schoolhouse, your children can get educated sitting in front of this computer for an hour or two a day. And they can get educated at their own pace.
You mean to homeschool them as opposed to public school?
Well, yes, but it's a little bit more. It's a little bit more than homeschooling, because they go from the first grade to the 12th grade, and from there you can go on to get your master's degree, which is what I'm working on right now.
Yeah, I'm not opposed to that. But when I looked into it, you have to hold a bachelor's degree to homeschool high school kids. And I'm
not if you enroll your child up with Timothy Bible College. The Dr. Jake Wade has a little more than a bachelor's degree, and he's in charge of that. He just provides the lessons to your son, and grades them.
Yeah, I have proposed that to my kids at several different junctures. In fact, I did pull my eldest daughter out of school and started homeschooling her, and she did exceptionally well during that time. And then I ended up in a divorce with their father, and I had to put everything on the back burner. However, when she did return back to school, she was the top of her class. It was unbelievable.
Well, I believe in education. I believe in education, not indoctrination. And that's you gave your child a good education. And I think we should be doing this at home. And I think we've kind of lost a lot of the skills. My grandmother had a victory garden. Every time I went over to my grandma's house, man, I had chickens, I had eggs, I had all the salads. And I'd like to see our neighborhoods get back to that kind of, because then you don't have to worry about your trucks rolling in. You don't have to worry about diesel or GMO foods.
Right. Yeah, that's a scary thought.
And at the now at the same time, the reason to prepare is because DHS ain't your friends. here. These are the real terrorists out there. And this controlled major mass media is controlled by three large major defense contractors, so three offshore major mass media corporations. So we're glamorizing war and keeping us into war. The bankers fund both sides. And only by getting back to our whole little local community can we deal with this kind of worldwide. This is a worldwide problem. It's not just Americans, but Americans have always been kind of the shining light. You know, our freedom and independence, land of the home, or home of the brave, land of the free, kind of thing. We've got to regain that. We've got to retake that back, and we intend to do it with radio shows like this and with people like you. If you're supporting the people that are trying to educate people, then not that I don't want to scare anybody. I'm telling you that you know, this whole plan of you know, putting a windmill up, putting food in the ground, it's been around for so many thousands of years. Must be a good thing. Got to work. And what communism wants is corporate farms. They want you to be a peon on the corporate farm.
Yeah.
How do you fight that?
I agree. Well, I think Michelle Obama was putting in a garden at the same time that they were passing the law in fine print where people couldn't have gardens, that it was going to become illegal to do your own gardening. I can't remember what the bill was. It was like 528S or something. It was a bill. I want to say last December it passed.
If you can find that, send it to Clay at freeamerican.com. Freeamerican.com. Clay, C-L-A-Y, at freeamerican.com.
Yeah, we also have one where... Oh, I'm sorry. Hang on a second. I have a pen. I can't get a piece of paper. Okay, what is the website?
My website is freeamerican.com. My email is simply clay at freeamerican.com. But that's got my phone numbers on it, that's got my links, that's got my links to my books. And I do like to write, and I do books, and the fiction books that I do are more believable than the non-fiction. Yes, sir.
My kids have gotten a little bit older, and oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Go ahead. What?
I was going to say I'm not opposed to the homeschooling idea. My kids are not willing. They don't want to homeschool. They like the social aspect of being around other kids.
Of course.
My philosophy is kids don't socialize kids. Adults socialize kids.
Okay.
All
Yes, sir.
I would say is, you know, I live here near Dallas, and the thing I'm concerned about here is eminent domain. I've seen here, just because folks live in a city limits, in this case Arlington, you know, the council is corrupt. You know, the politicians are corrupt. These people in their homes were there for 40, 50 years. They come in, I'm talking about like what you're describing in the Freedom Village, and what they do, their caveat, their whole game, it's been going on for thousands of years, is eminent domain. Because there's even a guy on YouTube I've been listening to for quite years, and he's living on his own with his family out in, I think, Nebraska or Iowa somewhere. And he's doing it literally off the land, but now he's being, I saw one of his videos about a half a year ago, and he and his family, he had to put down several cows because of the fracking. methane coming up, into the drinking water. So again, what I'm concerned about, if this is going to work, the only way it's really going to work is if we can keep away from the game of eminent domain with these idiots. Because remember, even the biblical standards always approach our land or the land. But that's something we need those experts. And by the way, I was a little bit disappointed a couple of weeks back, or I think maybe it was last week, and a guy from Texas called. I think he called himself Dave or David. But see, he was trying to interject a lot of legal stuff. I know it can be a little frustrating at times. But what he was trying to do was surf through what he experienced, and that's what we need. People that have this experience and they're willing to stick their neck out and make this
Still got one outside. This is going to take a lot of organizing. This is going to take to do this. We need a set of guidelines to operate on. We can use the guidelines for the organic foods from what they've done in Oklahoma. We've got the money set up. We can use their money from Ithaca Hours or Mountain High Hours. And if we actually start talking to our neighbors, I mean, all these people know is what they watch on television. They go into these neighborhoods at 6 o'clock at night, they pull in their driveways and they go in, they turn the television on, and all they're seeing are the bread and circuses. Trayvon Martin, Zimmerman, This is all things that they're hyping to try to create the stress and the need for this police state, this whole police state surveillance system that we got. I mean, it seems to me the biggest problem is we can't identify who the actual real terrorists are. Yeah, it's
we can. They wear suits.
No, but not all. But all suits aren't bad. All suits. I got a suit. I get this on the.
But what I was trying to say, what I was trying to describe earlier in the domain situation is here you have a private ball club that gets tired of their old stadium, and then the owner has all the pockets of the council and just tells these folks that have been living there for 40 or 50 years that, and they placate, pretend that they go to court and care. But what they're doing is they're just stealing property from folks just because they have an idea to build a new stadium. It's absurd. So now think about, like I gave you the example of the guy from YouTube. They can use the excuse for natural resources. Well, we're going to come in here because we're going to start fracking. So the whole point is, I think maybe I didn't say, is we need representation. And let's face it, the system only uses the representation through their stupid attorneys.
You can't get representation as long as you don't have a choice of who you vote for. I've been through presidential elections, and they turn the cameras off and don't tell you who is actually running, who would do something. You never see them on TV. And so we've kind of done what Stalin predicted. We bought and paid for our own rope to hang us. And we've got
Why
U.S.
don't we educate our family and friends and not encourage,
Well,
and not
that
encourage
is,
them to
that is
access, you know, these systems?
that is why I do this radio show.
Such a jury duty. In other words, why don't we just accept?
This is why I do this show for, to educate people.
Ourselves.
This is what I do this show for, to educate people. And, you know, what we need is more people.
Go ahead.
What we need is more people supporting this show, supporting Revolution, supporting this, making some donations, buying some books, do something other than sit around and criticize the way things are. We can change things. And all the groundwork's been done for you. It's real easy to do. You can build solar, you can build a windmill. They've been doing it for thousands of years. You might be able to figure it out if you're, you know, and we just got to stop depending on television for our information. That's what I started the Free American for. That's what I started this radio show for. It's why they started Revolution Radio. You know, these shows are important. The people I had on 10 years ago are making headlines now. This is what's important. I mean, you got ex-CIA officers telling you, the bloggers, the people like the Free American doing what I'm doing here, like I've been with the stories I've been sharing with you. You know, this is your education. This is information. You need to take this and spread it around, pass it around, and do it in a way that benefits all of us. I'm a writer. Buy a book. They make a difference. Everything makes a difference. Every donation makes a difference. Go ahead. Yes, sir. Go ahead.
I know we're lacking on time here, but if we were to go forward, like for instance, I'm just north of Dallas. Is there an actual freedom camp, or that I could go to? I know you're in Corpus Christi.
Not yet.
Is there anything
Not yet.
Going on?
Not yet. Not yet. We have to. I've just put the database to start taking the names. I've just got the page set up, but people are going to have to put some ads in. People are going to have to. If you got a farm or you got a ranch and you need help on it, here's a whole section for that. I think that ought to be a section. If you've got a job in the city and you just need a bedroom to stay in, well, if you help with the garden, maybe this would work. Maybe this would work. We've just got to start reaching out and helping each other and making this work, making our homes start paying for themselves again.
So, if I had, let's say, a solar system that I put together and I put it on a video and I threw it up on your site, and we all did that, everything from gardens to wind energy to all the self-sufficiency, would it benefit us all if we had a resource such as your site to be able to put videos up there that we can help each other and work with, individual?
Absolutely. That's the whole point of doing that. It's co-op. The co-op brings in, we bring in 10% for the phone calls and the computers and the internet access. And the rest of it is up to you. The rest of it is up to you. You join the co-op, here's your name, here's your address. We've confirmed that you're a real person. You ain't a scam artist. If you want to be a producer, I gotta have that information. If you want to just be a consumer, all you gotta do is be down at the courthouse on Saturday by about noon.
And I'd love to have to see it. My mom had the last word, so to speak, if she's still on.
Are you still on there? 727?
Can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am. Go ahead.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
I'm here. I was online trying to find that bill number in my old emails. Well, last word would be, I think it's a good idea. I'm familiar, we used to have chickens, we don't have chickens anymore. However, we do have solar hot water heater. We have saved and spent the money to foam our roof, which is saved us significantly on electric, and we do what we can to be, self-sufficient. I still do use the grocery store. I'm not that far along, but definitely want to avoid Monsanto, GMO.
Well, that's what we intend to help you with. That's what we intend to help with. All you got to do is tell people about this. I do have books to sell. I do need to make money. It does take money to operate this and do this radio show. Try to have good guests on for you. There's one of my books up there on YouTube now, on Deadly Flashes of Silver. And One Bloody Alabaster. I remember my fiction's better than my non-fiction. I really appreciate you guys listening. We'll be back every morning, 5 days a week. Thanks for listening.
Great show, Cliff.
Thank you. God bless.
Thank you.
Take care, everyone.
All right.
Thanks, Richard.
And I have no idea why my music.
I guess we're waiting for the. I guess we're waiting for the break musically that's going to be made. The same thing that happened yesterday. So I'm thinking we're just going to drop the server anyways because someone else is going to be wanting to pick it up. So I'll talk to you tomorrow.
Okay. Bye bye.